I was just curious what you have to do in Arkansas to get a license. You have to take chemistry, and somebody told me organic chemistry, which seems outrageous. Organic chemistry, but you have to learn chemistry in order to get a hairdresser license in Arkansas. At least that's the way it was in the 2000s, 2005, 2004, whenever I went in and asked them. And it was a long time of schooling. I mean, much more rigorous than what I hear is required for Tennessee. Why? Because a lot of people aren't willing or able to go through that. And what you're doing is you are moving this direction by requiring licensing. Okay? Trademarks, patents, copyrights, they keep people from competing with people who invented or started something creative. If I write the great American novel, it wouldn't really be fair if anybody could just print it and sell it. So it allows creative people to, for a limited amount of time, have a monopoly. Let's see. Number 6. Natural monopoly. They have economies of scale. The term scale is related to size, and a natural monopoly, I can't draw you the graph yet because I haven't shown you how to draw a monopoly graph, but a natural monopoly has average fixed costs that just keep getting smaller and 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 smaller. Their costs in general go down. So the bigger the company, the less it costs them to make the product. Think about Microsoft. Okay, if they have one customer and they produce one item of Microsoft Office, they have probably a couple $100 million in coding costs, right? Programmers, coders have to do all that coding, and they have one customer. So the average fixed cost, basically almost total cost, right, is extremely high if they have one customer. What if they sell 2 billion? What if they sell 2 billion copies of Office? Well, the average, you're going to take the total cost, you're going to divide by 2 billion, and it's going to be just, getting down there, definitely less than $1. Let's just make it easy. Let's say it costs 200 million and you're dividing by 2 billion. It's getting down to less than a penny. The thing is, companies like Microsoft, we call them natural monopolies. And I'll talk about how we deal with them later. But the main thing is, being a natural monopoly means the largest company will always win in a pricing battle. So, I'm going to run you out of business. No, I'm going to run you out of business. Well, the big company has lower costs. They're always going to win. So they're a natural monopoly. Okay, so those are some barriers. And let's see. Let's keep myself on track. Because I'll get talking about stories and we'll waste a lot of time. I'm going to keep an eye on this. We're still going. Okay, let me erase this. And let's draw the graph. And it's going to look different You know, when we had perfect competition, there were two graphs. One was for the market, and supply and demand found the price, and then the price moved over to the other one, which was that poor price taker that had to take the market price because individually he or she did not have enough influence to change the price, so they were price takers. Well, there's one graph for the monopolist because the monopolist is the market. So all the market demand is the demand for the monopolist's product. That's a Q and dollars, and so the demand looks like that. And marginal revenue is no longer on the demand curve. Marginal revenue is about halfway between, in fact, it's marginal basically for any of you that have ever had calculus. Don't worry, there's no calculus in this class, but just for those that have had calculus, the marginal revenue is basically going to be the derivative of the demand curve. Okay? So it will work out that if you take the distance to zero, marginal revenue will be here. And it just also happens to work out that if you went straight up to here, that would be where the price elasticity was unitary. Just a little. But I don't want to get real confused. Let's keep it clean here. Not have too much going on because it's going to get messy enough. So marginal revenue is at any price lower than the demand. So the change in revenue is going to change because we have a declining demand curve. And basically, let's say we have like $10 at this point on the demand curve. If we were going to lower the price to 9 so that we could sell another unit, we would gain an extra $9, but we would lose $1 on all the other ones that we would have sold for 10. So basically, our marginal revenue is going to be a lot lower at that quantity when we change the price. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you lower the price, all these ones you would have sold before sell for less. And then you have a gain of so many units at a lower price. So that gain, you have to subtract what you lose, and that ends up being, maybe you gain $4 instead of $9. Okay? That's how that works. Let me get this mess out of here. There's more to learn. Okay, so everything else looks just the same. Actually, with monopolists, the marginal cost curve tends to be flatter. So I'll draw it a little flatter. But still, you still got your Nike swoosh here. Marginal cost. And I'm going to throw in average total cost. And at this point, I'm not going to get into, I'm not going to draw the average variable cost at this point. I just want to show you in general how we would do this. Now, what was the rule for finding out or deciding the quantity, the optimum quantity? It's the same rule in monopoly as it is in perfect competition. The place where marginal cost equals marginal revenue will give you that quantity where, so the quantity where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. So we got marginal revenue here, right? This is marginal revenue. this is marginal cost, so that will be the optimum quantity. You got it? Okay, now what price are we going to set? No, we're not going to we're not going to do this. Okay? No. No, no, no. Okay. I can tell you that, but 2 or 3 people will get that wrong on a test. Even if I tell you, don't do that. You are a price searcher. You are a monopolist. So you will set the price as high as demand will allow. So that's the price of the monopolist. They set the quantity and then they see what demand, in other words, for this many units, and I'm just going to say, let's get rid of these prices and stuff. I'll say that this is 10 and that is 5, okay? So for 10 units, people will pay $5 each. Okay? So that's how you find the price. The monopolist can make economic profits in the long run. Okay. What about is this company making a profit? Well, total revenue is going to be just like before. Total revenue, you're going to have price, the height of price times the width of quantity. Oh boy, I'm going to grab another color marker. Okay. So $5 high by $10 wide would give us total revenue of 5 times 10 equals, that's one of my things in class, one of my teaching things to keep people paying attention. I ask the class to do the math, and sometimes I'm going 2 times 3. What is that? And I've tried filming the classes, but it makes me look really stupid. 2 times 3. Help me, guys. But keeping you involved. 5 times 10 is 50. Okay. And we had a quantity of 10, price of 5. And what about total cost? So we're going to work this just like we did before. Total cost, we're going to go as high as the average total cost curve is at this quantity. So right here is how high. So this time it's, I need to make a number, don't I? Let's see. 3.5. Okay? So 3.5 times 10 is, you're not going to answer no matter how long I stand here and wait. Right? Okay. So now we can take total revenue minus total cost, and we get 15, and that's positive, so we have a profit in the area here, right? Because the costs go up this high. Isn't this getting messy? Isn't it a joy? Okay. Notice that, if I had drawn this right, this would have bottomed out right there and moved up like that. But notice that we are not, as a monopolist, we are not producing at the low point on average total cost. No, we're producing at a higher cost. See, if you remember when we were doing perfect competition, that they produce at the low point in the long run, right? They produce in the long run at the low point on their average total cost. So they're very efficient. Sustainability, green economics. We're not wasting anything. The monopolist does not produce at their low point. They're producing over here. And so there's a chunk here of waste. They're not as efficient. Also, they're not producing as much. Okay? They're not producing as much. And so here's a general rule. Monopolist, let me get out of the way so you can see it. Monopolist produces, I almost wrote more, less quantity, sells at higher price than competition. Okay, I'm running out of space. Anything else I need to tell you? Okay, what are we going to do with natural monopolists? The natural monopoly. We're going to let it exist because it is very efficient. They're producing not only low costs, but it may be that, well, let's talk about your cable.